The Breathing Vein. A Sci-Fi Story. Part 1. The vein shuddered beneath her boots. Eva Vance froze mid-stride, her helmet lamp cutting a thin white arc across the cavern wall. The others felt it too. Every miner in Shaft 12 went still as the floor trembled, dust drifting from the ceiling like falling ash. The vibration wasn't mechanical. It wasn't geological either. It was rhythmic. A pulse. A slow, dragging pulse that throbbed through the stone like the heartbeat of something impossibly large. "Tell me that was the stabilizers," Joran muttered over comms, though his voice already carried the answer. "No stabilizer makes that pattern," Eva replied. "Everyone hold position." But the vein didn't hold. It breathed. A long, low expansion rippled through the organic mass embedded in the rock, 3 meters thick, 20 meters long. A glossy, fleshy cord threaded through the basalt like a colossal artery. Its surface flexed, pushing outward, distorting the surrounding stone as if the planet itself were inhaling. Then came the exhale. Warm air gusted from microfissures in the vein's surface, fogging Eva's visor from the outside. The temperature spiked by several degrees. "Shit," someone whispered. "It's alive." Eva didn't answer. She was staring at the incision they'd cut earlier, a clean slice made with a plasma saw. The wound had sealed. Not fully, but enough that the edges had fused into a puckered scar. It had healed, and now it was waking up. The tremor intensified, rolling through the cavern like a wave. Tools clattered. Loose stones skittered across the floor. The lights strung along the tunnel flickered as the power lines shook. "Back to the lift," Eva barked. "Move!" The crew scrambled. Boots pounding against the metal walkway bolted into the rock. The vein pulsed again. Faster this time, like a heart under stress. Eva risked one last glance. The scar was opening, not splitting, unfurling like a mouth remembering how to move. A thick, dark fluid seeped out, glistening under the lamps. It wasn't blood. It was too viscous, too iridescent, shifting colors like oil on water. The smell hit her a second later, metallic, sweet, and wrong. "Vance, now!" Joran shouted. She ran. Behind her, the cavern groaned as if the entire chamber were flexing. The walkway swayed. A cable snapped with a sharp twang. The lights died. Darkness swallowed everything. Only the sound remained. The deep, wet, muscular contraction of something enormous pulling itself tighter into the rock. And beneath it, a new sound. A growing, skittering whisper, like roots spreading. They burst into the lift chamber, breath ragged, suits streaked with dust. Emergency lights bathed the room in red. The lift cage hung open, waiting. "Everyone in," Eva ordered. The last miner stumbled through the gate. Eva slammed the controls. The cage lurched upward, cables whining as it ascended the narrow shaft toward the surface. Joran leaned against the wall, panting. "What the hell did we cut into?" Eva didn't answer immediately. She replayed the moment in her mind. The incision, the spasm, the tremor that followed. They'd thought it was a mineral deposit with organic inclusions. The scanners had shown heat signatures, but nothing like this. "It's not a vein," she finally said. "Not in the biological sense we know. It's part of a system, something integrated into the planet's crust." "Like a root?" Joran asked. "Or a nerve?" Silence filled the lift. Then the shaft shook. The cage swung violently, slamming them against the walls. Sparks rained from the control panel. The lights flickered. "What now?" someone cried. Eva pressed her helmet to the mesh gate, peering down the shaft. Something was climbing. A mass of tendrils, thin, pale, and glistening, was spiraling up the walls, weaving through the metal supports. They grew as she watched, elongating, branching, splitting. The shaft was filling with them. "Cut power to the lift," she shouted. Joran hesitated. "We'll fall. If those things reach us, falling will be the least of our problems." He hit the switch. The lift dropped. Screams filled the cage as gravity vanished. The fall lasted only a second before the emergency brakes engaged, slamming them to a halt. The impact rattled Eva's teeth. The tendrils surged past them, racing upward toward the surface, toward the colony. When they finally reached the top, climbing the emergency ladder for nearly an hour, they emerged into chaos. The sky above Outpost Kestrel was a bruised violet, storm clouds swirling unnaturally fast. The ground trembled in short, sharp bursts. Machinery lay toppled. Storage crates had been split open by rising growths, thin, root-like structures pushing through the soil like skeletal fingers. The planet was sprouting. "Command center," Eva said. "Move." They sprinted across the compound. The air was warmer than it should have been. Humid. The ground felt soft underfoot, as if the soil had loosened from within. A shout drew their attention. A technician was pinned against a generator, wrapped in pale tendrils that tightened with every movement. His face was purple, eyes bulging. "Help me," he choked. Joran rushed forward with a cutting torch. "Hold still." He sliced through the nearest tendril. The severed piece writhed like a dying worm, curling inward. The rest reacted instantly, tightening, pulling, constricting. The technician's ribs cracked audibly. "Stop!" Eva yelled. "It's reacting to damage." But it was too late. The tendrils surged, dragging the technician into the ground. The soil parted like a mouth swallowing him whole. A wet, sucking sound echoed as the earth sealed shut. Silence followed. Then a faint pulse beneath the dirt. Absorbing, incorporating, healing. Joran staggered back, torch trembling in his hand. "It's using us. It's using everything." Eva swallowed hard. The planet thinks it's wounded, and it's trying to repair itself. Inside the command center, the lights flickered but held. Screens displayed seismic data spiking off the charts. Thermal maps showed new hotspots spreading outward from Shaft 12 like a blooming flower. Dr. Celine Harrow, the colony xenobiologist, looked up as they entered. Her face was pale, eyes wide. "You saw it," she said. "Not a question." "We did more than see it," Eva replied. "It's spreading." Celine gestured to the main display. "It's not just spreading. It's reorganizing." The map zoomed in on the mining region. The organic structures were branching, connecting, forming a network. A circulatory system, a nervous system, a living architecture beneath the crust. "This planet isn't just alive," Celine said quietly. "It's sentient, and we've injured it." Joran slammed a fist against the console. "We didn't know." "It doesn't matter," Celine said. "It's responding the only way a wounded organism can, by isolating the damage and integrating foreign material to repair itself." "Foreign material meaning us," Eva said. Celine nodded. A low rumble shook the building. Dust drifted from the ceiling. The lights dimmed. "Whatever it's doing," Eva said, "it's accelerating." Celine hesitated. "There's more." She pulled up a new feed, live footage from a drone hovering above the outpost. Eva's breath caught. The ground around the colony was rising. Not uniformly, organically. Bulges formed, split, and unfurled into new structures. Veins, tendrils, pulsing ridges that snaked across the terrain like exposed musculature. The colony was being enveloped. "We need to evacuate," Joran said. Celine shook her head. "Shuttles won't launch. The tendrils have already wrapped around the landing pads. They're anchoring everything." "Then we cut them loose," Eva said. "You can't cut them," Celine replied. "Every incision triggers a defensive response. The planet interprets it as further injury." "So what do we do?" Joran demanded. Celine looked at Eva. "We communicate." The idea was insane, but so was everything else happening. Celine explained as they moved through the corridors, heading toward the xenobiology lab. If the planet is a single organism or a colony organism with distributed intelligence, then it must have signaling pathways. Chemical, electrical, maybe both. "You want to talk to it," Joran said. "I want to show it we're not a threat," Celine corrected. If it understands that we're not trying to harm it, it may stop the assimilation response. And if it doesn't? Eva asked. Celine didn't answer. The lab was a mess. Equipment knocked over, samples spilled, lights flickering. But the central console still worked. Celine began pulling up data. I've been analyzing the fluid from the vein, she said. It's not blood. It's a transport medium, nutrients, signaling molecules, regenerative compounds. When you cut into it, you disrupted a major pathway. The planet reacted like any organism would. By trying to clot the wound, Eva said. Exactly. And by incorporating available biomass to accelerate healing. Joran grimaced. Biomass meaning people. Celine nodded. If we can mimic the chemical signature of self, the planet's own biological markers, we might be able to convince it that we're part of the system already. That we're not foreign. Eva frowned. You want to trick the planet into thinking we belong here. Yes. And if it believes that, it stops trying to absorb us. Hopefully. Another tremor shook the lab. A crack split the floor, thin tendrils probing upward like curious fingers. We're running out of time, Eva said. Celine worked faster. The first attempt failed. The second nearly overloaded the lab's power grid. The third produced a reaction, but not the one they wanted. The tendrils in the floor stiffened, then retracted slightly, as if confused. But moments later, they surged upward with renewed force, wrapping around equipment, pulling it into the crack. It's interpreting the signal as damaged tissue, Celine said, horrified. It's trying to repair us. Meaning it's going to try to integrate us harder, Joran said. Eva grabbed Celine's shoulder. We need another angle. Celine stared at the data, eyes darting. The planet isn't just reacting to injury. It's reacting to fear. Eva blinked. Fear. Stress signals. Defensive compounds. When you cut the vein, it released a cascade of biochemical alarms. The planet thinks it's under attack. So we need to calm it down, Joran said. Celine nodded. We need to send a signal of safety, of cooperation. How? Eva asked. Celine hesitated. By touching it. Eva stared. You want physical contact? Yes. Direct neural interface. The planet communicates through electrochemical gradients. If we can sync with one of the surface tendrils carefully, we might be able to transmit a non-threat signal. And if it misinterprets the signal? Joran asked. Celine swallowed. Then it will absorb whoever makes contact. They chose a tendril near the edge of the colony, one that had grown thick and slow, pulsing gently like a resting serpent. The ground around it was warm. The air shimmered with humidity. Eva, Celine, and Joran approached in silence. Celine knelt beside the tendril. Its surface was smooth, pale, almost translucent. Beneath it, darker fluids pulsed in slow waves. It's listening, Celine whispered. Eva didn't ask how she knew. Celine attached a neural interface pad to her wrist, connecting it to a portable transmitter. This will translate my neural patterns into electrochemical pulses. If I stay calm, the signal will be calm. And if you panic? Joran asked. Celine didn't look up. Then it will know. She placed her hand on the tendril. It reacted instantly. The surface rippled under her palm, warming rapidly. A low hum vibrated through the ground. The tendril coiled slightly, like a creature waking from sleep. Celine closed her eyes. Eva watched the transmitter. Neural patterns spiked, then steadied. The tendril's pulse slowed to match Celine's heartbeat. It's working, Joran whispered. Then the tendril wrapped around Celine's wrist. Not violently, gently, like a child holding a parent's hand. Celine gasped but didn't pull away. It's curious, she said. It's trying to understand me. The tendril tightened. Celine winced. Celine, Eva said. It's okay, Celine whispered. It's reading me, learning. The tendril pulsed. Celine's eyes flew open. Eva, she said, voice trembling. It's not just learning. What is it doing? It's showing me something. The tendril surged. Celine screamed. Eva grabbed her, trying to pull her free, but the tendril had already wrapped around Celine's arm, shoulder, chest. It lifted her off the ground, holding her suspended as she convulsed. Joran fired his torch. "Stop!" Eva shouted. "You'll make it worse." But Joran was beyond reason. He slashed at the tendril. The flame bit deep. The tendril spasmed. Celine's body jerked violently. The ground split open beneath them. A massive vein, thicker than the one in the mine, rose from the earth like a living pillar. Tendrils unfurled from it, reaching, grasping. Joran stumbled back. "Oh God!" The tendrils wrapped around him, pulling him off his feet. He screamed as they dragged him toward the opening vein. Eva drew her cutter. She didn't attack the tendrils. She attacked the transmitter. Sparks flew as she sliced through the device. The neural signal cut off. The tendrils froze. Celine fell limp into Eva's arms. Joran collapsed to the ground, gasping. The massive vein shuddered, then slowly retracted into the earth, pulling the smaller tendrils with it. Silence settled over the clearing. Eva held Celine, shaking. Celine's eyes fluttered open. "Eva," she whispered. "I'm here." Celine's voice was faint. "It wasn't attacking. You were screaming. It was showing me memories, pain, fear. The planet, it's been hurt before. Long ago, something tried to consume it, survived. But it remembers." Eva swallowed. "And it thinks we're the same threat." Celine nodded weakly. "Unless we prove otherwise." "How?" Celine looked up at her. "We go deeper." Part 2. The descent began at dawn. Not that dawn meant much anymore. The sky above Outpost Kestrel had taken on a permanent bruise-colored haze, pulsing faintly in time with the tremors beneath the ground. The planet's heartbeat had risen. His breathing had quickened. It was no longer merely reacting. It was preparing. Eva, Celine, and Joran stood at the edge of the fissure that had opened overnight. A jagged wound in the earth, wide enough to swallow a shuttle. Warm air gusted from below, carrying the same metallic sweetness as the vein in Shaft 12. "It wants us to go down," Celine said quietly. Joran snorted. "Or it wants to bury us." "No," Celine murmured. "It's calling." Eva didn't like the way she said that, soft, reverent, almost entranced. Celine hadn't been the same since the tendril touched her. She moved differently, spoke differently, as if part of her mind was still entangled with the planets. But they had no other options. The colony was nearly gone. Tendrils had wrapped around every structure, pulling them into the ground like a child tidying toys. The remaining crew had barricaded themselves in the comms tower, but the tendrils were already climbing its walls. If they didn't stop this, no one would survive. Eva clipped her harness to the descent line. "We go together, slow and steady. No sudden movements." Joran nodded, jaw tight. Celine simply stepped forward, as if gravity were a suggestion rather than a law. They descended into the planet's wound. The fissure walls were lined with organic structures, pale ridges that pulsed faintly, like exposed ribs. Veins crisscrossed the stone, glowing softly from within. The deeper they went, the warmer it became. Eva wiped condensation from her visor. "Feels like we're inside a throat." "Not a throat," Celine said. "A conduit. A transport channel." "For what?" Joran asked. Celine didn't answer. The descent took nearly an hour. The fissure widened into a cavern so vast their helmet lamps barely reached the far walls. The floor was covered in a soft, fleshy membrane that yielded underfoot like damp moss. At the center of the cavern lay a structure unlike anything they'd seen. A heart. Not metaphorically. A literal, colossal heart, 3 stories tall, suspended by thick, pulsing cords that anchored it to the cavern walls. It beat slowly, each contraction sending ripples through the membrane beneath their feet. Eva stared, breath caught in her throat. "This is impossible." "It's beautiful," Celine whispered. Joran took a step back. "It's a nightmare." The heart pulsed again, and something answered. A low, resonant hum filled the cavern, vibrating through their bones. The cords attached to the heart tightened, pulling it slightly upward. The membrane beneath them rippled. "It knows we're here," Celine said. Eva steadied her breathing. "Then let's make sure it knows why." They approached the heart cautiously. The air grew thicker, humid with biological vapor. Eva's suit sensors flickered with readings that made no sense: electrical fields, chemical gradients, rhythmic pulses of unknown origin. Celine stepped ahead of them, moving with purpose. "Celine," Eva warned. "Slow down." But Celine didn't slow. She reached the base of the heart and placed her hand on its surface. The heart reacted instantly. A wave of light rippled across its surface, illuminating the cavern in a soft, bioluminescent glow. The cords tightened. The hum deepened. Celine gasped. Eva grabbed her arm. "Celine, talk to me." Celine's eyes were unfocused, pupils dilated. "It's speaking," Joran swore. "We need to get her away from that thing." "No," Celine said, voice suddenly clear. "You need to listen." The heart pulsed. Images flooded their minds, not visuals but impressions. Emotions. Memories not their own. A world bathed in light. Vast forests of living tendrils stretching across continents. Oceans filled with bioluminescent organisms that pulsed in harmony with the land. Planet alive in every sense. Then darkness. A shadow descending from the sky. Metallic. Hungry. A swarm of machines tearing into the planet's flesh, harvesting its tissues, draining its lifeblood. The planet fought back. Tendrils rising, veins constricting, seismic waves shattering the invaders. It survived. But it never forgot. Celine staggered, clutching her head. "It thinks we're the same. It thinks we're here to consume it." Eva shook her. "Then tell it we're not." "I'm trying," Celine whispered. "But it doesn't understand the concept of coexistence. Only integration or destruction." Joran stepped forward. "Then we show it. We prove we're not a threat." "How?" Eva asked. Joran looked at the heart. "By letting it see us. All of us." Before Eva could stop him, he placed his hand on the heart. The reaction was immediate. The heart convulsed, sending a shockwave through the cavern. The membrane beneath them rippled violently. The cords tightened around the heart, pulling it upward. Joran screamed. Eva lunged toward him, but a tendril shot from the heart, wrapping around her waist and flinging her backward. She hit the membrane hard, air knocked from her lungs. "Joran!" she shouted. He was suspended in the air, tendrils wrapped around his arms, legs, chest. His visor cracked. Blood trickled from his nose. Celine reached for him. "Stop! He's not attacking you." The heart pulsed violently. Joran's scream cut off. The tendrils released him. He fell to the ground, limp. Eva crawled to him, hands shaking. She pressed her ear to his chest. "Nothing." "Joran," she whispered. "No. No, no." Celine knelt beside her, tears streaming down her face. "It didn't mean to kill him." Eva stared at her. "It crushed him." "It was afraid," Celine said. "He touched it with fear in his mind. It interpreted that as aggression." Eva's voice broke. "He was trying to help." Celine closed her eyes. "I know." The heart pulsed again. Slower now, almost mournful. Eva stood, rage boiling in her chest. "This ends now." She drew her cutter. Celine grabbed her wrist. "If you attack it, it will kill us both." "Then what do you suggest?" Eva snapped. Celine looked at the heart. "We give it what it wants." Eva froze. "Which is understanding." Celine removed her helmet. Eva's eyes widened. "Celine, don't." "It needs direct contact," Celine said. "No barriers. No filters. It needs to feel a mind that isn't afraid." "That's suicide." Celine shook her head. "No. It's communication." She stepped toward the heart. Eva grabbed her arm. "Celine, please." Celine smiled sadly. "You said it yourself. We have no other options." She placed both hands on the heart. The cavern exploded with light. Eva shielded her eyes. The air vibrated with a deep, resonant hum that shook her bones. The heart pulsed rapidly, cords tightening and loosening in frantic rhythm. Celine's body lifted off the ground, suspended by invisible force. Her hair floated around her head. Her eyes glowed with bioluminescent light. Eva watched in horror and awe. Celine spoke, but her voice was layered, harmonized with the hum of the heart. It sees me. The heart pulsed. It knows me. Another pulse. It understands. The cavern fell silent. Celine lowered gently to the ground. The glow faded from her eyes. She turned to Eva, smiling weakly. It's done. Eva rushed to her. Are you? A tremor cut her off. The heart convulsed. Celine's smile vanished. Eva, she whispered. Run. The heart split open. A torrent of fluid burst from the heart, flooding the cavern. Eva was thrown off her feet, swept across the membrane. She clawed at the ground, struggling to stay above the rising tide. Celine was nowhere to be seen. The fluid glowed faintly, warm and thick. It surged toward the fissure, rising rapidly. The planet wasn't attacking. It was purging. Eva scrambled to her feet and ran toward the fissure wall. She activated her ascent harness, firing the grappling line upward. The hook caught on a protruding ridge. She climbed. The fluid rose faster. Halfway up, the wall shook violently. A tendril burst from the stone, wrapping around her leg. She kicked at it, but it tightened, pulling her downward. No! She screamed. The fluid reached her waist. Another tendril shot toward her face. A blast of light struck the tendril, severing it. Eva looked up. Celine stood on a ledge above, glowing faintly, eyes bright with bioluminescent fire. Climb! Celine shouted. Eva didn't hesitate. She climbed with everything she had, muscles burning, lungs screaming. Celine fired another pulse of light, clearing the path. They reached the top of the fissure just as the fluid surged behind them, spilling over the edge like a living tide. Eva collapsed on the ground, gasping. Celine knelt beside her. It's over, Celine said softly. Eva looked at her. What did you do? I showed it what we are, Celine said. Not invaders, not parasites, just small, curious, fragile. And it believed you? Celine nodded. It healed the wound. It's retracting its defenses. Eva looked around. The tendrils that had wrapped the colony were shrinking, retreating into the ground. The sky was clearing. The tremors were fading. The planet was calming. Eva exhaled shakily. We survived. Celine smiled faintly. Not all of us. Eva's chest tightened. Joran, the others. So many lost. What now? She asked. Celine looked toward the horizon, where the first true sunlight in days broke through the clouds. Now, she said, we learn to live with it. Epilogue. Weeks passed. The colony rebuilt carefully, respectfully. No more deep mining. No more cutting into the planet's flesh. Instead, they studied the surface tendrils, learning their rhythms, their signals, their moods. Celine became the bridge between species. She could still hear the planet's heartbeat. Sometimes, Eva caught her staring at the ground, listening to something only she could hear. You okay? Eva would ask. Celine always smiled. It's talking. About what? Everything. Eva wasn't sure if that comforted her or terrified her. But one thing was certain. The planet was alive. And now it wasn't alone. This is the end of the sci-fi story, The Breathing Vein. Leave a like if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more sci-fi stories. Thanks for listening.